From the CyberHub bunker and studio, you're tuning in to the CyberHub Podcast. And now for your host and CISO, James Azar.
Good morning, security gang. Welcome to another episode of the CyberHub Podcast. Thank you for tuning in this Wednesday morning, February 21st, 2024. We've got a really busy show for so many practitioners here with a lot of different vulnerabilities and different types of threats, as well as some news on the regulatory front. So don't go anywhere. This show this morning is really good because, one, if you haven't subscribed to our show yet, please do so right now. If you haven't shared it, we do appreciate you sharing it. You can also go check out our Substack, jamesazar.substack.com. We've got two different things on there. We've got the CyberHub Podcast and then CISO Talk by James Azar, and that's more of my personal writing, a whole lot of stuff there around security practitioners. And we've got a few articles coming out this Friday. Well, we've got one Friday, and then we've got another one on Sunday that you'll definitely want to tune in for, especially around the kill chain. So we'll get into that here in just a moment. But let's go ahead and get started with our show this morning. Join me for a coffee cup cheers, y'all. My double espresso coffee cup cheers. Yeah, it's different when you're on the road. Very different. All right. VMware is urging admins to remove the deprecated vulnerable plugin, the VMware Enhanced Authentication plugin that enables seamless login of vSphere's management interface via integrated Windows authentication and Windows-based smart card functionality on Windows client systems. They've announced this about 3 years ago with the release of vCenter Server 7.0 Update 2. Track the CVE 2024 22245 with a 9.6 CVSS base score and CVE 2024 22250. The two security flaws patched today can be used by malicious attackers to relay Kerberos service tickets and take over privileged EAP sessions. An attacker could trick a target domain user with an EAP installed in their web browser into requesting and relaying service tickets for arbitrary Active Directory principal names, the SPNs. VMware explains when describing both known attack vectors that you would need unprivileged local access to Windows OS. They can hijack a privileged session. The company added that it currently has no evidence that's being targeted or exploited in the wild. But as we know from the show, within 24 hours, someone will have something and you'll see the scans and they'll go way up. And so if you're using this environment of VMware and you're using this plugin, you want to make sure you get that taken care of ASAP. There's also instructions here on how to uninstall or disable the Windows service if removal isn't possible at all. So you want to check that out. That's also in the show notes. Last month, VMware also confirmed that a critical vCenter server remote code execution vulnerability was patched in October and now was under active exploitation. Mainly, it revealed that Chinese cyber espionage group UNC 3886 abused it as a zero-day for more than 2 years, since at least 2021. ConnectWise has released urgent patches for two critical security defects in its Screen Connect remote desktop access product, warning there is a high risk of in-the-wild exploitation. This has the perfect score of 10 out of 10 on the CVSS scale. And this bug is an authentication bypass using an alternate path or channel. The second bug is documented as an improper limitation of a path name to a restricted directory. This was also fixed and tagged with an 8.4 on the CVSS severity scale. The company says the vulnerabilities were reported a week ago through its public disclosure channel and insists there's no evidence of in-the-wild exploitation, but they do mark him critical, saying that could happen. Affected versions include Screen Connect version 23.9.7 and prior versions, according to the company. Partners that are self-hosted or on-prem need to update their servers to version 23.9 or 0.8 immediately to apply the patch. The ConnectWise Screen Connect patches comes at a time when the government is warning about critical risks associated with legitimate remote monitoring management softwares. Obviously, let's not forget Move It and a whole bunch of other ones that have all been taken advantage of. Chrome and Firefox have both released updates to their browsers, fixing and resolving multiple vulnerabilities, including several high-severity memory safety bugs. Chrome 122 was released on Tuesday of this week in the stable channel with patches for 12 security defects, 8 reported by external researchers. Two of these high severity flaws, the most severe based on a paid bug bounty program reward, being an out of bounds memory access bug in Blink. Google says it handed out $7,000 due to reporting researcher. The other externally reported high severity security hole resolves the latest Chrome update in a use after free flaw in Mojo, for which Google paid $5,000. According to the Google advisory, the highest bug bounty reward was $8,000, and it was handed out for an inappropriate implementation in site isolation. They've paid $28,000 all in all for researchers. So the latest Chrome version is out. Mozilla announced the release of Firefox 123 with patches for 12 vulnerabilities, including 4 high severity, 6 medium, and 2 low. The high severity holes include an out of bounds memory read in networking channels, memory safety issues, and a bug leading to a spoofed alert dialog being displayed on a different site. So you want to make sure you get those browsers updated. If you're a Redis kind of organization and you're hosting a Redis with Linux, you might want to pay attention to a malware called Migo used to mine cryptocurrency. On Sunday on LinkedIn, if you're not following me on LinkedIn, you should do so. James J. Azar. I shared the Google Cloud Threat Report, and one very interesting data there was a lot of the cloud threats were misconfigurations or vulnerabilities that led to crypto jacking and crypto mining. And so here, Redis is an in-memory data structure store used as a database, cache, and message broker known for its high performance, serving thousands of requests per second for real-time applications in industries like gaming, tech, financial services, and healthcare. People are always looking to take over Redis simply because, one, the cost is expensive, and number two, it's widely used. Upon compromising Redis servers, the attackers disable critical security features that allows them to receive subsequent commands and make replicas writable. Cato says that they noticed the attackers disabling the following configuration options through the Redis CLI: the set protected mode, the replica read only, the AOF rewrite incremental fsync, and the RDB save incremental fsync. All there. Now, these are all security features within Redis that allow you to create some sort of redundancies and resiliency. Then they set up a cron job that downloads a script from Pastebin, which retrieves Migo's primary payload from transfer.sh to be executed as a background task. This is a UPX-packed ELD binary compiled in Go, features compile times, obfuscation, and hinder analysis. Cato says Migo's primary function is to fetch, install, and launch a modified Monroe miner on a compromised endpoint directly from the GitHub CDN. The malware establishes persistence for the miner by creating a system MD service and the associated timer, ensuring it runs continuously, mining crypto on the counters on the victim's system. Cato also reports that Migo employs a user mode rootkit to hide its processes and files, which helps complicate detection and removal. Migo's attack chain also shows that the threat actor behind it has strong understanding of the Redis environment and operation, meaning they've actually done their homework. If you are using Redis on Linux, you want to make sure you follow these steps. You want to investigate just a little bit to ensure that you're not being a victim of this. And by the way, one great way to do it is, alternating, kind of look at your last 3 years of Redis service, look at what your average billable per month is. And then if you see any sort of deviation beyond specific growth and, in your ups and valleys and your highs and your valleys, then you start to investigate there. That's a good indicator typically, because once they start mining, your costs really go through the roof. The reason to hire Monroe is because it doesn't require a lot and it's pretty easy to get rid of, unlike Bitcoin, which requires a whole lot of energy. And that's really easy to detect because all of a sudden your bill could double or quadruple when they're doing that. German control systems provider PSI Software this week announced that the systems are still down following a ransomware attack nearly a week ago. The incident, which was disclosed on February 15th when the company announced that it proactively disconnected its systems from the internet to prevent data exfiltration. On Monday, the company updated its initial notification to reveal that ransomware was involved in a cyber attack, and it has yet to restore its internal IT infrastructure. As a result, all external connections and systems were successfully shut down. Still in the night, they also shut down PSI's mail system in the night so that no mail has been sent from PSI systems since then. PSI also noted that it's investigating the attack vector and that it's found no evidence that the PSI systems at customer sites had been affected. According to current knowledge, there's no access to remote connection for the maintenance of customer systems. Security team is still working on containing the incident. Headquartered in Berlin, PSI provides control systems to major European energy suppliers. Its solutions cover control, monitoring, and optimization for electricity, gas, oil, heat, and water. Includes leak detection, location, network utilization, operational management, and pipeline management. A DC area school says data of around 100,000 of its students was affected in a ransomware attack. The school district in the Washington, D.C. suburb says the personal information of nearly 100,000 people was breached by a ransomware gang right before school started in the fall. This is Prince George's County Public School finished this review of the incident earlier this year, and according to a regulatory filing, determined that personal information was included in the potentially impacted data set. The ransomware attack started August 14th of last year, was publicly disclosed soon afterward. It resulted in a network outage for the Maryland district, which serves 130,000 students, many who are employed, whose parents are employed by the federal government or work in other positions as well within the federal and state government there. The information present in the files may have been viewed or acquired as a result of this incident varies per person, including individual names, financial account information, and social security numbers. All in all, 99,543 people were affected in this breach in DC, and just shows you where that goes. If you don't think it's malicious, I don't think there's an accident there. You don't target a DC school for no reason. Steal information. You just don't. There's reasons behind it. Europe is announcing the launch of a formal probe into TikTok's under digital rights law. The European Commission is investigating TikTok for violating Europe's landmark Digital Services Act through its alleged addictive design, lack of age verification, privacy shortcomings, and other potential violations. Investigators will examine whether the social media app violated the DSA by failing to protect minors, creating advertising policies that lacked transparency, failing to give researchers access to data, and inadequately addressing risks posed by its product design and harmful content. A very, very interesting move here by the EU, by the way. Hopefully, they actually mean what they're investigating and go all the way through and ban TikTok in Europe, which might be precedent for the 535 useless people sitting in DC occupying the Senate and Congress at this time that can't seem to come to an agreement that TikTok should be banned in the US, that it's harmful to children, and that it's a Chinese spy op and a psy-op in this country. Instead, the president now, for his re-election campaign, opened a TikTok account. That's just really comforting for all y'all. I hope they did it on a phone that's just designed for that. I pray to God they did, because man, oh man, if that's TikTok account is on a phone that has campaign emails or potential White House business, talk about a lack of responsibility from the White House there. And finally, an end of an era at the National Security Agency. The cybersecurity director, Joyce, has officially announced his retirement. He's been the NSA cybersecurity director since early 2021. He's been doing public service in the NSA or the White House for the last 34 years. David Luber, the deputy director of the NSA cybersecurity directorate, will replace Joyce as cybersecurity director. Luber was previously served as the executive director for U.S. Cybercom, and all these changes are obviously coming now that General Nakasone has stepped down as NSA and Cybercom general commander, and General Timothy D. Cow was assured and assumed command of all of these respective agencies. We wish Rob Joyce a relaxing, maybe non-cyber retirement, although I'm sure, having heard him speak a few times, Rob's not one of those people that's just going to go fishing on a lake somewhere. He'll be back in this industry within a heartbeat of his retirement, because that's just the personality of that man. So thank you for your service, Mr. Joyce. Thank you all for tuning in this morning. Please make sure to subscribe and follow us on your favorite social media platforms. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern, live with all the latest and greatest. Until then, have a great rest of your day, and most importantly, stay cyber safe.
We love feedback, so make sure to connect with us on social media and subscribe to our podcast on your favorite podcast listening platform.